Welcome to The Lion and the Shadow, Idi Amin's life and legacy. This story is read by me, Mugisha, and produced with Bantu Studio. Join us as we begin this journey, chapter by chapter, exploring the rise, reign, and fall of Idi Amin. Narration, Chapter 1. The northwestern tip of Uganda is a land of green hills, red earth, and endless horizons. It borders the Congo to the west and South Sudan to the north. In the 1920s, this region was far from the bustling colonial centers of Kampala or Entebbe. It was a place where life moved to the rhythm of the seasons, where the day began with the crow of the rooster and ended with the dim glow of paraffin lamps. It was here, in the small town of Koboko, that a boy named Idi Amin Dada Oumee was born around May 30th, 1928. Some records list other years, 1924 or 1925, but the truth is, no one wrote it down for certain. In that era, in rural Uganda, births were not recorded in official books. They were remembered by the rains, the harvests, or the stories told by elders. Idi's father, Idi Amin Dada, was a farmer and a member of the Kakwa ethnic group, a small community living across the borders of Uganda, Sudan, and the Congo. His mother, Asa Ate, sometimes called Aisha Ate, was of the Lugbara people, another group native to the northwestern region. These were communities with deep traditions, close family ties, and a way of life built on respect for elders and loyalty to clan. But life in Koboko was not easy. The land was fertile, but farming was at the mercy of the rains. Poverty was common, and the British colonial government had little interest in developing the remote north. Education was rare. For young Idi, school was not a daily part of life. He is believed to have completed only 3 or 4 years of formal education, enough to read simple words but not enough to write with ease. For the rest of his life, he would rely on others for detailed reading and writing, but he would also develop a powerful memory and a sharp instinct for reading people. When Idi was still young, his father left the family. His mother raised him, moving first to Arua and later to other towns in the north. She worked as a herbalist and healer, respected in her community, feared by some, and often consulted in times of illness. Young Idi learned early about strength, survival, and self-reliance from her. The Uganda of Idi's childhood was a colony of the British Empire. The South was more developed, with missionary schools and cash crop plantations. The North, where Idi grew up, was treated as a labor reserve, a place to recruit soldiers and workers for projects elsewhere. Many young men from the North joined the King's African Rifles, the British colonial army in East Africa. Idi grew tall and strong. By the time he was a teenager, he was over 6 feet tall, with the broad shoulders and physical presence that would become his trademark. He learned to box, to wrestle, and to fight with a stubborn determination. These skills, more than reading or writing, would shape his path in life. In 1946, at about 18 years old, Idi Amin made the decision that would change everything. He walked into the barracks of the King's African Rifles and signed up for service. At first, he was assigned not as a fighter, but as a cook. His job was to peel potatoes, stir large pots, and serve meals to British officers. But the army was more than food. It was a world of discipline, hierarchy, and opportunity for a young man from a poor, rural background. What Amin lacked in formal education, he made up for in physical ability, courage, and an instinct for leadership. Within months, he caught the attention of his superiors. They noticed how quickly he learned drills, how he could run for miles without tiring, and how he stood out in a line of soldiers. This was the beginning of a journey that would take a boy from Koboko to the very top of Uganda's political ladder and into the pages of world history. But at this early stage, no one could have imagined that this tall young recruit would one day be called the Butcher of Uganda by the international press, or that his rule would leave a nation scarred for decades. This has been Chapter 1, Birth in Koboko and Early Years, From the Lion and the Shadow, Idi Amin's Life and Legacy. Read by me, Mugisha, and produced with Bantu Studio. Stay with us as we continue in Chapter 2, where we follow Idi Amin's early military career and his rise as a national boxing champion.